So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes with my wife. We got back from all of our summer trips. Give you guys a little bit of update on how the trips went. And so I'm going to let my wife get started because she's much better at explaining things than I am.
So the first trip we took was to Williamsburg, Virginia. And one of the really original reasons why we went there was because Scott really likes Williamsburg. But one of the things he wanted to do was stay in one of the colonial homes that they have for accommodations. So we had to spend, it's kind of hard to explain. It's just a regular square, plain building, very colonial style, very low lighting. It was difficult to see down the hall where our room was. It was a lovely room, 4-poster bed, just basic furniture. They try to keep it as modest as it would have been in the colonial times. And the name of the cottage we stayed in had several different rooms, maybe 6 or 8 for accommodations. Do you remember what the name of it was?
I wasn't a big fan of the straw mattresses, though.
There was not straw mattresses. Do you remember the name of the house, what it was called?
No.
Well, anyway, it was right on the major thoroughfare through Williamsburg, not directly in the village. We were a half block off. So it was lovely. We got to spend time with our reservation. We got an opportunity to walk through Williamsburg. It came with 7 days admittance into colonial Williamsburg. And we had buffet breakfast every morning, was complimentary. And the backyard where we stayed was beautiful. Holly was very happy there. She could play ball and not escape because everything is individually fenced off. But while we were there, I met a lovely couple, a little bit older than Scott and I. And they travel the world, and they go to Williamsburg often. And so they were filling me in on all of the different programs that are offered, that they go there for to listen.
And in spite of the straw mattress, I napped a lot.
Yes, he did nap a lot, but when he was willing to explore, we would go out probably mostly in the morning. When we walked morning, we'd walk through colonial Williamsburg, and the carriages were going through with the horse-drawn carriages, and some of the stores were open. Some of the
Trying to figure out what we're going to have for dinner that night.
Yeah, that too. Some of the demonstrations were going on. So it was really nice. It was quiet because it wasn't the busy season, so it was really enjoyable. But at Market Square, lovely evening, eating and music being played, and speaking to the shop owners, and with common things like dogs or things like that. So it was really nice. We had a nice time there. And
Then we left there, and we came back, spent a day or two, and then spent almost a week, 5 days, I think it was, 6 days at Belhurst Castle up in the Finger Lakes in New York.
right off of Lake Seneca.
Very cool place. Literally stayed in a castle. No window shaker, air conditioning, no refrigerator, no elevator, but it was super, super cool. I spent most of the days just sitting on a bench, looking out over the lake, watching birds fly, leaves, breeze, boats. I just sat there and relaxed. Had a good time. I spent good time with my wife. And again, spent the week eating far too much.
Yeah. But everything was right there. You know, they had their own wine shop that sold different kinds of things, for your wine, cheese boards, wine rings, and different things like that. But they also had two really nice restaurants, very upscale, and a very bistro-y type of place. Hi, Tiny. How are you, boy? So that was enjoyable. And outside they had a gas fire pit with nice chairs around it and tables with umbrellas. So, and they had a garden to walk around. It wasn't a fancy garden, but it was a pretty garden. So that was really lovely. One thing we did do while we were there was we ventured across the other side of Lake Seneca to a cheese place. It is the only cheese making place. I'm losing my words here, but it was
an artisan cheesemaker.
Thank you, artisan cheese. And they raise the cows there, they milk them, send it to a creamery, it gets processed at the creamery, and then it comes back there to age. And you pay a tasting fee, and they let you sample 12 of their cheeses that they make and sell there. They had a lot more than 12, but they offered you 12 choices for that week that we were there. And they sold beverages to water to wine, beers, craft beers. Also had, they had root beers and things like that. So that was really nice. That was something different. Not everybody thinks about doing that when they go on the wine tours. Everybody wants to go to the wineries. So this was something a little bit different. So we really enjoyed that. And we got a surprise. Below the edge of the property was a railroad track. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden the train comes through. We weren't expecting that. It sits like literally right next to the lake. So that was really cool, and I think you might even have a picture of that.
I might. So then we came back from there, and literally turned around again.
No, we were home a week.
Oh, we were home a week.
Yes, we were. We were home a week in between there and New Jersey.
The organization called A Week Away wound up giving us basically an all-expenses paid trip to Ocean City, New Jersey for 7 days, which was super cool. I love that place. I told somebody you could have given me an all-expenses paid trip to Disney, and I would have sold it and stayed up here. It was just that nice. Nothing. If you've ever been there, Victorian, old Victorian town. The lights up on the porches and stairs in the evening. Really, really nice place. So,
a lot of beautiful, beautiful condos were there.
We were literally like a block and a half off the beach, which she loves the beach. I couldn't care less about the beach. There's sand on a beach and people on a beach. and so the weather was absolutely gorgeous. We had really nice nights. The breeze came through. And so I spent time sitting on the deck at the condo napping.
Yeah?
Which is a good thing.
The Week Away Foundation is a foundation that grants patients who have brain cancer respite trips. It's located in eastern PA, but west of us. And they had a loved one who died from brain cancer. So they grant these respite trips with the approval from the doctors and the organization. And they were wonderful. They made sure we had a lovely condo. When you rent a condo, they don't supply the linens in New Jersey. So you have to either bring them yourself or they do have linen rental services. So they also rented our linens for us and supplied us with Visa gift cards so that we could have meals. So that was really nice because we would go down to, we were on the 41st Street of Ocean City, where the boardwalk ends at 24 or 25 and starts at 1 or 2. So we were far away from the actual boardwalk activity. So we would drive down to the boardwalk and we would have breakfast down there. Well, we did that like 3 times during the stay. I made breakfast once for us at the condo. And while we were there, our oldest son and wife and their 2 littles came to stay with us for an overnight. That was the only day the weather wasn't really great. It was beautiful, but very windy, and so we were getting whipped with sand on the beach. So we didn't stay there long.
Sandblasted.
Yeah, we were getting sandblasted. But it was really nice because Scott taught our granddaughter, who's 6, how to play backgammon.
Well, I tried real hard.
And
my brain don't work quite like it used to.
Well, you were trying to teach her, make the moves yourself and help her
That's
with the
no
moves.
excuse.
Well, you did pretty good. And he also got to hold our newest grandchild. He was 5 weeks when they came to visit for an overnight, and he got to feed him and hold him and let him sleep on you for a little bit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the people who owned the condo upstairs were lovely. We had a little bit of a, oh no, not this again. But we got there, and the realty company asks you to check the condo, make sure there's nothing with damage, or maybe report if there is damage. So I looked around and I wrote down my things, and
No hot water.
didn't know that though.
For 3 days, we had no hot water.
Didn't know that. I washed my hands, the lukewarm water, didn't think anything of it. The next morning he got up and ran himself a bath.
Everybody involved, though, was wonderful.
Yeah.
Literally, like 2 days later, we had as hot the water as we wanted to. They put a brand new gas water heater in for us, and everything worked great from that point out. So no complaints.
Yeah, the people upstairs were wonderful. They offered us the opportunity to use their, they have an outside shower there. It's completely enclosed, though.
They were going to drag a hose from the bathroom sink out the window and throw us down a little hot water on the deck.
My nose is itching like crazy. No, you're so funny. But no, they were very nice. They offered us that, and then they said, well, you're certainly welcome to come upstairs and use the shower here, too. But we found out that not all of the places are for rent. Some of the people are
Own their own.
own their own, and they stay there, and they don't want to rent out. Now,
That's the kind of place I want.
yeah, it was really lovely. We, like I said, we met some very nice people, and it was a quiet street, and the weather was beautiful. And if you turned and looked off the front deck, we were 2 roads away from the bayside. So 1 road from the ocean, 2 roads from the bay. And the sunsets were absolutely stunning. God really granted us such beauty with the sunsets. It was just lovely. So then we came home.
And tried to go camping.
So this was a little bit tumultuous because our youngest son and his wife were tending to her father. He was turned very sickly very quickly, and
Wound up in the hospital as we were making our way back from Ocean City.
yes, and
Through the course of the week, wound up passing away.
so our son was with his wife. Now he was going to drive us to the campground because
I can't drive because I have this seizure thing going on. So my son was going to drive the camper, take it up to Narbonne for us and set it up, and he wasn't able to do so because he needed to be home to take care of his wife and his father-in-law. So he got his friend to come hook up the camper. We're following him up. We get up on Pricetown Road up near Route 12, and I look out and I see a wheel bearing come off the camper. It was spinning down the highway. So I had her come up and get up right next to him. I flagged him down. We pulled over. Sure enough, the one wheel bearing on the left side of the camper came off. It was rolling down the highway. So
Luckily, he saw it because I didn't. I saw something hit the median right when he said something's coming off the camper. So the young man made a couple phone calls. Our son came from the hospital with his daughter and stayed to help his buddy. And another buddy showed up, took his own.
one of his friends came over, took the hub off of his own camper, which happened to be the exact same one, put it on our camper, got us back on the road again, new bearings and everything, and got us on our way.
Yeah.
Which was totally cool.
In less than 2 hours.
Yeah. So we get to the campground, we get set up, and then through the course of the rest of the week, we wound up taking care of our granddaughter.
She's 4.
While the kids were taking care of her dad. And the end of the week wound up with a viewing and a funeral, and that was kind of a tough week. But
we were still blessed with good weather. We only had one night of really bad rain, which sounds fantastic in the camper. If you've not ever experienced it, it's really cool. But anyway, we only had one night of bad weather, and the campground's lovely. They have a lot of activities for families, and so we just had a nice time. The only thing I can say that wasn't so great was we had no tree. There was no tree. It was hot. And so that was a little...
that's why we have an air conditioner.
Yes, but it just seemed to be so hot until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden it was under the shade. So, but all day long it was
You
hot.
spend the entire day out sitting under the sun.
No, don't. I sit under these beautiful trees.
No, when we're with a camper, you sit out in the middle under the sun. That's all you do is sun yourself. You're like crazy over it.
Well, that's because you can't. I have to make it up for you. So, yeah, so we came back home, and now we're getting back into our routine again, and a routine of, just taking care of the house, taking care of the chickens that you can hear in the background, and the cats and the dog.
Getting back in and taking vegetables out of the garden.
Yeah. Your doctor visits, things like that, things we
Yeah.
need to do.
I could do without them.
Yeah, I know, but you need them anyway. So,
Well, I don't know. Did I need the last one?
no, they messed up.
They gave me an MRI that would have been, had I gotten it, they couldn't get a needle in me because my veins were all puckered up apparently, and so they didn't do the MRI. But in the end, it turns out that's a good thing because it would have been too soon for me to see the doctor with the results of the MRI.
Which
So-
they need in order to determine what course of radiation he needs, along with the blood work. So they had difficulty getting blood from you too, but they got that out of you finally.
Now the MRI is to figure out what the chemo is actually doing to the tumors, not the radiation.
Oh, it's Golden Girl.
Time for bed. All right, that was it. I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on for the last month or month and a half. We've been busy and just spending time together, trying our best not to kill each other.
I got a chance to walk around and talk to people, and in some cases I shared what's been going on with us, and people have been most gracious, and they're excited about your book and the fact that you signed with the publisher.
Oh yeah, I got a contract. I signed a contract with the publisher on the book this week. I'm working on that. I got a couple of people working on editing, and I'm hoping to have actual books in hand right around Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So that's kind of where we are with that. So that's kind of exciting, and that's a good thing.
Something to look forward to.
Yep.
So, well, I hope everyone has a lovely and safe holiday weekend on the 4th of July. And
You say lovely a lot, you know that?
I don't care, I like the word.
I could do without it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.